Takže čau lidi, dneska tady budeme hrát Dark Travel. Doufám, že dáme dneska nějaký newbesty. Hrál jsem to za kamerou. Dal jsem 28 a 75 až 100. Proto jsem to pojmenoval jako den 1, protože je to den 1, co vlastně tady tohleto celý streamuju. Dáme si trošku dolů hudbu, abyste mě líp slyšeli. No a budeme takovou rozehřívačku, že půjdeme vlastně od 90 a později se budeme vzdávat až do 63 až 100. Už mi nejde kurně skákat. Počkat. Nejde skák. Už to jde dobrý. Jinak potom, až budeme hrát od 0, tak pokud se tady někdy dostaneme, tak na 63% tak potom se bojte. Ještě nikdo není. OK, už to budeme od 90. Sorry, že trošku se to seká. Ty vole. Já musím jako docela křičet, protože abych přeřval tu hudbu. Takže občas mě jako slyšíte trošku hůř. No, zkontroluji se. Dobrý. Takže sorry za lagy, ten level má objektu jak prase, takže proto to je takový trošku debilní. Takže pojďme od nuly. Pojďme od nuly. Jsem nejdřív říkal, že si dáme nějaký rany, ale já to kašlu. Chci se dneska dostat aspoň přes... Chci se dneska dostat aspoň přes těch 28%. Já dneska ní upést. To je můj cíl. Já jsem jako tušil, že to chcípnu, ale vlastně jsem nechtěla, abych tam chcípnul. Že já nevím, jestli to víte, ale já mám prostě 60 fucking FPS. Jsem kvůli tomu, že střílím drog, nemám na to zas to je hlavně obdobně heavy level. A to jak s tím tam taky úplně dvakrát nepomáhá. Ne, že to byla moje chyba, kdy já jsem posrar click pattern docela, já to docela posrar. Jako W run, chat, W run. Jo, chat, jako budu hrozně jak fakt grandit 12 games, protože můj cíl je dát Yatagarasu. Takže jako budu cílovat nejspíš každý den. Takže musíme doufat. Možná potom, co mě přestane bavit Dark Travel, tak dáme nějaký reakce a potom asi ukončím stream. A můžu brát ještě nějaký box. O, 31, kámo, jak jsem nehytl ten Blue Orb. Ale kámo je W new best, chat, W new best. Ale jako, já jsem, když to dělal takhle, já jsem těsně mysnul ten hitbox toho orbu. Hej, tak jsem nasranej, chat, ale jako, je to new best, hele, dobrý. Splnil jsem svůj cíl a je docela jako pěkný, čumte. Vole, 31,13. 1,13. Jo, hej, W new best. Ale podle mě bychom se mohli dostat do toho UFO. Možná je dál. Johaje. Dneska taky půjdem od 63. jdeme změnit název. Jdeme upravit název. Dobrý, kašlu na to. Tady vytvořím ještě jednu scénu, na kterou budeme potom přecházet, kterou potom takhle přetom. Tak, chat, dobrý. Dobrý. What? Bro. Jak jsem tam chcípnul? Doslova, jak se mi povedlo tam chcípnout. Doslova, počkej. Jo, tady. Co? Koukejte. Doslova, já jsem tam kliknul. Já jsem tam klikl doslova. A jako... Ježišmarja, moje OBS-ko. No. Ale při vole, tak to je debilní. To je krásné. No. Tak tohle jsem naštvaný. Dobro. Čet. To je tak debilní. Já takhle umírám v podstatě na nic. To je jenom prostě moje skill issue. Ale jako stačí mi těch 31%. výčet půjdem od nějakých určitých procent. Jsou od 63, teď půjdem. Zkusíme dát 63 až 100, ať to ten zdrý aspoň stojí za něco a ne úplně za ho. Co ten level má skoro 50 000 objektů, tak se vidím, že to takhle seká. No, nicméně. ta část, tam je vyložené, že štve. Family friendly. Já jsem klikl prostě. Nikdo nerozumí, já jsem klikl. Teď dáme nějaký reakce, se vrátíme zpátky k geometry dashi, dáme dark level, nějaký random levely, no asi budeme končit. Je to jako byl to krátký stream, ale byl jako docela, tak je to můj první stream. Musíme to brát s rezervou. Takže nadej na YouTube. Vortrax gets struck by lightning during 100k special. Wait, what?
I don't even care if I get struck by lightning because I have 100,000 subscribers, so that means I'm immune to everything.
Okay. Pero... Se hrajeme jenom GD. the worst geometry dash level. Vy jste tady říkal, že jste to jako viděl, ale ještě jsem to neviděl. Takže asi...
Bad Geometry Dash levels. They exist. I know, I was surprised too. Bad Geometry Dash.
Doslova to bylo před 2 lety. Za 2 dny to budou přesně 2 roky. Já jsem to ještě neviděl prostě. Takže napijeme se. Všichni povinně napít teďka.
Levels. Bad Geometry Dash levels. They exist. I know, I was surprised too. It's almost like when your game relies on community-made levels, the vast majority of them are going to be not good. But you know what? Everyone starts somewhere, and there's no point in focusing on these bad...
A jako jestli to byl Kolonův první level, no, tak to je docela dobrý. Můj první level byl o mnoho horší.
Bad levels when there's tens of thousands of masterpieces that you could be experiencing instead. But at the same time, it's content.
How's it going, guys? Today we're going to be playing levels from the recent tab. I sure hope there aren't any bad ones.
Průměrný můj level.
Lately, I've been thinking a lot about the bad levels in Geometry Dash, because at the end of the day, it's a big part of the game's culture. Sure, you could just not play them, but what about the map pack levels that you need to suffer through for some extra coins? Or the world's smallest violin shorts that get millions of views? Or maybe there's a demon level that you just don't like. You can ignore these levels all you want, but they are there and they are popular. Sometimes more so than levels that actually deserve that kind of spotlight. But what's the worst level in Geometry Dash? Like the absolute lowest of low. I've wanted to solve this for a long time, but there are literally tens of millions of levels out there. I was thinking of going off some criteria, like maybe it's the most disliked rated level in the game, which is this auto level with various obstacles that probably came out back when nearly every level uploaded to the servers got rated. Or maybe we can go by download to dislike ratio, which led me to this strange 2-player level. In reality, there just aren't any good ways to conclusively find a single worst level for the game. So I think the best answer to this question is another question. Do I look like MatPat to you? Seriously, why am I wasting my time trying to find some earth-shattering evidence when the worst level is very obviously Generation Retro?
No právě hodně lidí považuje za nejhorší level právě Generation Retro. Já nevím, co proti tomu levelu všichni má, za mě to docela dobré level. Je fun, je takový trošku bad, je to finální level Poison Gauntletky, ale nepřijde mi, že to je tak jako debilní ten level. Mně stačí jenom, že se dobře hraje. Ale kámo, ten boss fight, ty vole. Mě zajímá, co řekne potom k tomu boss fightu.
This is the final level of the Poison Gauntlet, which means that 5 million people were forced to play through it, and 5 million therapists were probably called shortly after. Seriously.
Jo, až Generation Retro jsem beatnul, mám skoro všechny gauntletky hotový.
This level is terrible. Just skip it, hack it even. Nobody has to know. So, where did it all go wrong? The year is 1978. Arcade games like Pong and Breakout have taken the world by storm, and Japanese game developer Tomohiro Nishikado was determined to make the most captivating and groundbreaking gaming experience yet. Inspired by the block-breaking mechanics of Breakout as well as science fiction stories like Star Wars, he worked tirelessly to develop a 3-button shooter game
Space Invaders. No, v tom celém je Generation Retro.
known as Space Invaders. The way it worked was simple. A horde of aliens are making their way towards the bottom of the screen, and you have to destroy them all while dodging their bullets. The game ended up being a massive success, and before you knew it, people everywhere were flocking to arcades to give it a try. Space Invaders would go on to be one of the most influential video games of all time, and a massive turning point in the history of gaming. Anyways, fast forward to late 2015, and a Spanish Geometry Dash creator by the name of Hraju woke up one morning and felt like tarnishing
Protože on má jenom 2 creator pointy.
late 2015, and a Spanish Geometry
On má jenom 2 creator pointy. To znamená, že asi jeho jediný rated level je Generation Retro. Nebo ne, to bylo jako, to bylo ve 2, to bylo točený ještě v roce 2023, to bylo jako v červnu, to bylo před 2.2, takže nevím, možná jako má víc creator points.
Geometry Dash creator by the name of Aratsa woke up one morning and felt like tarnishing the game's entire legacy. Thankfully, 4 years later, it was restored by MDK and Teminite. Everywhere you look in Generation Retro, there's aliens from Space Invaders. In fact, there's even a section where they make up the gameplay itself. So really, there's no denying that the game had a huge influence on this level. Of course, Generation Retro isn't the first level to do the whole Space Invaders thing. I'm sure the first one to come to mind is Retray,
Ne, Retray zase ne, protože Retray má tyhle ty custom
Which came-
alieny.
came out a few months prior in Update 1.9 and is currently the most liked level in the entire game. And these little aliens showed up in lots of other 1.9 levels like Hyper Arcade and Uninstall. The pixel art was easy to make and super recognizable, so really, why not? Generation Retro definitely took it a step further though, because the entire level is themed around these aliens, even if there's no direct mention of Space Invaders. But this just begs the question, why is it in the Poison Gauntlet? Remember, this level was handpicked over thousands of other potential candidates. I know the early gauntlets don't stick to their name all that well, but that's because most of the levels in them just aren't themed. Generation Retro very clearly is, and the only conclusion I can draw is that it was put in the Poison Gauntlet because the level is green, like the Shard. And maybe it's because of the boss fight since it's the final level of the gauntlet, but Fire's got one on level 1, so who knows? Oh yeah, spoilers, there's a boss fight. By the way, Gauntlet's released in 2017, and this level came out in 2015, so it's not like RobTop pulled a random new featured level or something. This one stood out to him, and this is the creator's only rated level, so they weren't
Jsem říkal,
featured level or
že
something.
jak vidíte,
This one stood
Generation Retro je feature, takže dostal 2 creator pointy.
out to him. And this is the creator's only rated level, so they weren't like well known. I know I said that if a level is bad, you don't have to play it, but this
Ten se
one is genuinely forced onto you. By putting it in a gauntlet, the level is officially endorsed and part of the game's core progression. If you're not familiar with gauntlets, they're collections of 5 developer-picked levels that you play through for cool rewards. Map packs just give you coins, which you don't need after a certain point, but this gauntlet has an unlockable player color tied to it, so you're really encouraged to give it a shot. And that's why I think this is the worst level. Not only is it an absolute train wreck for reasons we'll get into, but it's forced onto you. It's forever cemented as part of official Geometry Dash. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, but Craig, what about Scarlet Surge? Shut up! No,
Kámo, co mají lidi proti Scarlet Surge? Co mají kurňa lidi proti Scarlet Surge? Jediný, co je takový trošku debilní, je, že to je fucking XL-kovej level. Jinak to je úplně v pohodě.
like seriously, what do people have against Scarlet Surge? I played through it and it's fine. My only real complaint is that it's long, and while the gameplay is perfectly fair and readable, it isn't all that interesting. Also, the level has a lot of flashing lights, making it a potential nightmare for photosensitive players, so picking it for the most important gauntlet in the game is extremely inconsiderate on RobTop's end. But either way, I had a decent time with this level and I stand by it. So I'm sure by now you're dying to know what it is that I hate so much about Generation Retro. So let's play through the level and I'll walk you through it. The level opens with a black screen and some blinking text that says insert coin. Obviously you don't actually have to do this, it's just a cute callback to old arcade games. Like Space Invaders. Your icon slides in from the side of the screen and Boss Fight's 2015 Hood Classic Glitch Gremlin fades in from exactly 192 seconds. The name of the song is apparently a reference to this character from the Angry Video Game Nerd YouTube series. If you're not cultured, it's basically a web show where this guy plays bad games for content and makes jokes about them.
That's a stupid idea.
So initially the level is pitch black, but when you hit the first jump pad, all the decorations appear. It sets this cool cyber retro theme, and you've got these Space Invaders aliens plastered everywhere because world building. I wouldn't say that the art style is a weak point for this level, but it is very
Tam jsou ty, ne, tam jsou ty liny. Neříkám, že on to dělá z těch 3D.
copy and paste, and there's all sorts of clashing decorations that don't go well with each other, like the glowing blocks and the spinning whirlwind things. Also, do you notice something about the pixel art? It's got these weird diagonal lines slicing through it, and I can guarantee you, this is not a style choice. What you're seeing here is someone who did not know that the editor has pixel blocks, so instead they use this little square-shaped 3D decoration since it's the next best thing. This was a pretty common practice back in 1.9, but it immediately became obsolete after that since scaling and pixel blocks were added, and it's very unlikely that the level was started in 1.9 since the first click of the entire level is a green orb. So yeah, the level is completely themed around these pixel aliens, and they're not even built right. Speaking of that green orb, if you don't hit the blue one directly after it, you just fly off the map. This is a pretty innocent mistake that's present in a lot of levels, but I kid you not, every single gravity change in this level has that problem. There are 0 ceiling spikes or saws anywhere in the level, which means that if you miss a jump while upside down, you either have to wait a couple seconds or pause the game and manually restart, which is a feature that isn't even on by default for whatever reason. It's stuff like this that makes it extremely clear that this level had next to 0 playtesting, and there is infinitely more proof to back that up. For example, if you don't buffer all 3 of these orbs, there's a pretty good chance that you'll overshoot on the yellow orb and die to this genius structuring. I guess I should also address the lore of this level. It'll pick up further on, but for now we're introduced to this angry red alien with eyes that break the rules of pixel art. He welcomes you to the level, and that's about it for now. But he'll be really important later, trust me. Shortly after his epic introduction, you're hit with an invisible mini portal that causes you to bounce lower on this jump pad, and then you hit another invisible portal that changes you back. Right off the bat, I have so many questions. Why are the portals invisible? Why is there a mini portal anyways? Why are you immediately changed back before you even make a single click? For some reason, lots of levels used to have invisible mini portals like this, and I've never understood why. Like, it doesn't add anything to the level, it's just a brief loss of control and an extra layer of confusion. And in the context of this level, it doesn't even sync to the music, it's just kind of unexplainably there. Well, actually, maybe not as unexplainable as this random fading block. I think the intent is that it's supposed to save you if you decide to leap off this block for whatever reason, but that raises even more questions. Like, why was this accounted for but not the orb timings at the start? Why was a fading block used instead of shifting around the gameplay? And what makes this jump so important in the first place? If you want to allow jumping here, this block is like the worst possible solution because of how much it clashes with the rest of the level's style. There could have at least been an effort to make it look like part of the regular gameplay, but nope, apparently that's too much work for old Arathsa. By the way, we're like 5% into the level so far, I just figured I'd point that out. There's this blue pad a little bit after that launches you up to some platforms which are barely out of the camera, meaning that this part is kind of a blind jump, but it's still super doable. It's worth bringing up though, since there are going to be much worse ones later down. And in case you're not familiar with the term, a blind jump is essentially any jump where you're unable to see what's up ahead. For example, if I were to put a jump directly after a long drop downwards, it would be considered blind because you don't have any time to process it. Moving on, there's a whole bunch of blue pads here building up to the song's drop, and the level is even friendly enough to remind you of its name. This part is fine for a build-up, but I would tweak this last bit right before the drop since I think it's a little awkward. After the bass kicks, you enter a robot part, and it's definitely something. More specifically, jank. It flows poorly, and all the jumps feel kind of weird. You'd also expect some new decoration and effects after the drop, but it's still the same old aliens and green stuff. Of course, I have to highlight this random key, which is completely unmissable and unlocks a door directly next to it. This could have been a cool idea, but it's the only key door in the entire level, so it's such a random addition. Like, what is the key providing here other than added confusion? Technically, Meltdown did this with the 7 Cs, but at least there it syncs with the music and feels like a gateway to the real level. This key is sort of just here. And it goes even deeper, because the key is pixelated, but the keyhole isn't, so they don't even look like they match up. And get this, the key uses pixel block. So for some reason, all the aliens are built with the ugly 3D tile, while this random key is the only pixel art in the level to actually be assembled correctly. And funny enough, when you touch the pixelated key, it also reveals a normal one underneath, which is only there because the creator didn't want to add their own pickup animation. But what breaks me more than anything is that if you manage to miss the key, it disappears anyways. The gate doesn't open, but the key just kind of pieces out. What was the thought process behind this? Like, they clearly know how to make triggers that activate on touch because the gate's still closed, but why not do that for the key disappearing? I just don't get it. After that monstrosity, there's another moving platform that pops up out of nowhere, and it's kind of funny because this one isn't even tied to a key or anything like that. I don't expect consistency from this level, but I'm just desperately trying to find something decent to cling on to. After jumping off this platform, you hit a gravity portal which leads into another blind jump, where you'll probably either run into this spike or miss the blue orb and fly off the map again. I wouldn't go as far as to say that this part requires memorization, but you do need to be ready for it. As far as lore goes, we run into the red alien again, and he looks normal at first, but suddenly turns angry and yells "No!" before flying off screen. I have no idea what that's supposed to mean, so don't ask me. At first I thought he was mad that you're inside the level or something like that, but this is the same alien that welcomes you at the start, so I kinda thought he wanted you to stick around. Once you pass him, there's a custom teleport portal that also flips your gravity, and honestly, I think it's fine. It's very clear how it works, and I think it fits quite nicely with the level. But what's weird is that if you walk off the platform and fall off the map, you pass by this weird circular thing that's not normally viewable. It's not a coin, and it doesn't have any group IDs attached to it. It's kind of creepy, honestly. Maybe it's an eyeball or some sort of cult symbol? I really have no idea, but I'd love to hear your theories on this. You can also see it if you skip this green orb, because again, this level has no ceiling spikes, but this time the actual eyeball-shaped part has disappeared. It's a strange amount of detail for something that you never see. Ignoring that, next we reach a wave portal where the walls don't appear until it's a little too late. The gameplay here isn't that bad, but it's a wave part, so as long as you place a bunch of slopes, you really can't go wrong. There's also a coin up here, which is in a pretty generic spot for a custom level, but it's not terrible by any means. There's a custom coin texture as well, and sure enough, it's made with pixel blocks while all the aliens in the background aren't. And it's also the exact opposite of the key from earlier, because this time the coin doesn't disappear regardless of if you touched it or not. Also, this is where the level begins to take a dark turn, because suddenly everything goes red and flashy, and before you know it, there's a virus detected. It's just like they warned us about. By the way, there's another invisible mini portal here. You have enough time to react to it, but this is like the single worst game mode to have an invisible mini portal in. There's really no reason why it had to be invisible, and it's not like it would have made the level uglier, because seriously, have you looked at this? Next up is a ball part, and in an unexpected turn of events, those aliens from the background are now the main objects supporting you. And feast your eyes on those beautiful hitboxes. There's an invisible blue pad that does the first move for you, and I'd prefer if it was visible, but it's not like it'll mess you up in any way. The real problem with this ball part is this infamous alien right here, because it looks like an ordinary platform, just like the 4 that came before it, but when you touch it, it turns evil and...
Kámo, já vím, právě u tohohle. Tohle právě hromadu lidí nenávidí tu ballpark Generation Retro. Já jsem se na to taky nachytal, když jsem hrál Generation Retro. Když jsem dohrával po tohle toku. Bylo to hrozný, ty vole.
Kills you on the spot. Get trolled. So funny. This is why I have trust issues. Okay, look, I'm not gonna deny that there are some visuals to help you out. The alien isn't animated like the others are, and there's a down arrow to nudge you in the right direction. But it doesn't do much because this stupid alien is in such a tempting spot. I feel like I need to land there because it just feels right. Even when I'm well aware that it kills you, I still find myself trying to hit this platform again and again. It's tempting to the point that it's messing with my brain. This isn't a troll, this is psychological torture. I think the reason this spot is such a big punch in the gut is because it's a memory part in a level that you don't expect to be about memory. Don't get me wrong, there are many levels where you have to memorize things. It's super popular among demon levels, and some of them, like Limbo, are masterpieces. But the difference is that those are levels you play because they're memory levels. So when you die to something you were supposed to memorize, you're not going to be surprised. A good analogy for this is playing an extreme demon versus playing an easy 2-star level that suddenly turns into an extreme at the very end. The first one sets your expectations properly, and you have a good idea of what you're getting yourself into. But with the second one, it's unfair. It's not what you wanted from the level, and it leaves you feeling betrayed, like the creator doesn't care about you. And it's especially bad for casual players who just wanted to play something relaxing. In the context of Generation Retro, I think most of the expectations are set by the fact that it's only 6 stars, and the gameplay so far has been relatively straightforward. There's a couple spots that you might have to memorize due to bad placement or unpredictable triggers, but when you die to this alien, which the level clearly wants you to do, this is when you realize it's all on purpose. The level hates you, the creator hates you, and the stupid red alien, well, I don't know, maybe it's just misunderstood. There's also further expectations set by this level being in a gauntlet, since in order to get to this level, you have to beat 4 other ones with a lot more care put into them. Memory parts aren't inherently bad, they're just bad when they show up in places where you don't want them. And this level has no shame. The earlier memory parts were innocent enough, but this one feels like it's spitting directly in your face. So, you're just supposed to go down, there's an invisible blue pad because the game thinks you're too stupid to press a button, and then this blue alien shows up and he's like, hey! He serves as a platform to cross a small gap, and then he disappears forever. Or does he? There's something so funny to me about how his text turns black and then moves along with him, but maybe it's an artistic choice. Also, there's no decoration around this pink orb, even though the first one had some, so scrap all the memory stuff I said earlier because this is the real crime. The rest of the ball part is fine. The alien hitboxes still suck, and the most notable thing to point out is probably this UFO that moves along with you for a little bit. There's no visual hint for it, and it's very unnecessary, but let's be real, so are many things in this level. You probably won't die to it, and my expectations are so low to the point that that's good enough for me. The ball part ends with a beautifully placed jump pad, and then it's on to the UFO. For this part, you just fly through the wall it tells you to, and in all honesty, it's not terrible compared to most UFO sections. I think it's really cool how this part references the safety bunkers from the original Space Invaders game, since it shows evidence that maybe the creator actually liked Space Invaders and wasn't just using the art from it. What's kind of funny is that I didn't even notice that the red alien is the one breaking the walls, mainly because his animation is so fast that you barely have time to notice it. But it's otherwise put together quite nicely and does a good job at tying the level's theming into the gameplay. This would be my favorite part of the level, but it's Generation Retro, so obviously there's invisible size changes everywhere. You know, just to be cool or... Look, I don't know why these are here. All I want in life is to know what this guy was thinking when he made any of this. After the UFO stop, you hit an invisible ship portal and are forced into the center by a bunch of invisible blocks. And thus begins the boss fight, which spans the entire rest of the level, but not before some...
Kámo, ale ten boss fight v Generation Retro, to je ta první fáze, je fakt jako dobrá, protože tam doslova má health bar a útočíš zpátky.
extremely
Jako je to skvělý.
emotional dialogue from the evil red alien who says, Ja 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 ja, you have not win. You died. No. Look, I know English isn't the creator's first language. I mean, he literally laughed in Spanish and I pronounced it the stupid way. It definitely makes it a weird choice for a gauntlet in an English game, but look, he's trying his best. It makes me wonder if the name of the level was the result of some broken English as well. Like, what if he meant to say retro generation, but forgot that nouns don't go first in English? Still, even without the language barrier, is this really the best you could come up with? The best way to salvage this would probably be like, I won't let you win, now it's time to die, but even that could use some work. Whatever, who am I to tell this guy how to write his stories? Though I will say it needs better pacing, since you barely have time to read any of this or let it sink in. Also, after the dialogue, you reach the end of the invisible platform, so hopefully you weren't taking a stretch break or you're gonna plummet right into the spikes and have not win. Oh, and don't try to continue flying straight or you'll get sniped by the alien's laser. Otherwise, the boss fight kicks off and a health bar appears above the alien. From here on out, it's just the two of you in a completely empty black background. The alien flies around aimlessly and takes 2 shots at you, which you can dodge by keeping a height difference. If something feels slightly off about the movement here, it's because there's some invisible speed portals. I'm not exactly sure why this is needed for the fight, but they are indeed there. Once you survive his brutally hard attacks, you come across this jetpack looking thing which the level clearly wants you to pick up. In fact, it wants you to so badly that there's invisible slopes that literally force you to get it. This jetpack thing causes you to shoot 2 bullets at the alien, and since he doesn't bother to move out of the way, his health depletes a little bit. On paper, this is a brilliant idea. In the vast majority of GD boss fights, you just sit there dodging attacks until the boss randomly self-destructs. But in this case, you're actually fighting back. Another thing I really like is that... Never mind, I got nothing. Let's talk about why this part f***ing sucks. First up, I have no idea what this thing is supposed to be, but it's made of pixel blocks. You know what isn't made of pixel blocks? The boss. That just so happens to be pixelated. It's also funny because the pickup uses 32 objects when you could very easily do it in like under 10. Whatever, that's not important. What is important is the fact that you can't miss this thing. So even though there's an epic boss fight going on, you have very little control over what your player does. It's way more rewarding if you have to pick up the weapon yourself, and it's not like it makes the level harder in any way since it's just sitting there. Maybe the creator did this because he didn't want to make a complicated health system, but you don't even need that. If you miss the weapon, just make the boss insta-kill you. It's not rocket science, and the time I spent complaining about this, I already built the setup.
GG.
The invisible blocks also cause the same issue as before, where you have no clue when the cutscene ends, so you have to be ready for it. I'm assuming you're trapped in this space so that the bullets will always hit the boss, but it makes the fight that much more unpleasant because, again, I want to be the one actually playing the game here. Another problem I have with this bit is that there's no music sync at all. Take a listen. In fact, nothing in this boss fight syncs. You can replace the music in the boss fight with something completely different and nothing would change because none of it was built around the music in any way. Finally, the weapon is clearly made of 3 components, but you only shoot 2 projectiles. Normally this wouldn't bother me, but his health bar goes down 3 times. So is there a ghost bullet or something? Well, actually, yes, there is. If you turn off preview mode, you can see that there is a 3rd bullet, but it stays invisible so you never see it in the level. How do you mess that up? So after that, you dodge a few more attacks, and then there's another invisible speed portal. If you stay low during this part, you'll get a coin, which is something that levels like Deadlocked in Outer Space did really well. But in this case, the alien is perfectly centered, so it's not like it's any harder to go down than up. What usually makes...
Podle mě hromada lidí jde normálně dolů když hraje Generation Retro, takže...
These coins so good is that the level very obviously wants you to go in one direction since there's lots more room to dodge the attack. But if you reject that and avoid the obvious path, you actually get rewarded for it. In this case though, it's just a 50-50. You either go up or down and both ways are about the same. But what really gets me is that the alien shoots a massive burst of bullets that's a lot harder to dodge than anything so far. And the only indication of a safe spot is the coin! So if you don't want to get unfairly sniped in this part, you have to take the coin route anyways. Also, because this is Generation Retro, the custom coin doesn't disappear after you collect, and this time it even takes a moment to appear. After another big burst of bullets from the boss, in an unexpected turn of events, the blue alien from the ballpark comes back. And he's like, no! This is the end. For you! And he shoots some sort of beam at the red guy and causes him to fade out of existence. So yeah, that health bar was meaningless the entire time. My favorite part about this bit is that the pacing of the dialogue is horrendous. So when you actually read it out loud, it's more like, no! This is the end. For you! Anyways, this takes us to level final, which is backwards in English, but normal in various other languages, including Spanish. Some invisible slopes force you into a teleport portal. We get this incredibly cool transition. Let's see that again. And next thing you know, the entire level's on fire and the background's still a black undecorated void. This transition is like the only part with music sync in the entire boss fight, and in my opinion, it's still pretty mediocre, but feel free to judge for yourself. So now the red alien is like, arg, this is my game. It's time for a game over. Which, okay, sure. Next time at least be consistent with which words you capitalize. But also, I have no idea if this is the same alien as before because he looks different now. I always assumed it was the boss's final phase, but I'm starting to think that maybe the previous guy died and now you're up against the CEO of Generation Retro. I don't know. Though it's worth pointing out that this is the same red alien you see in every other part of the level, so maybe the first boss was a decoy. I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of fun to come up with theories for this, but it also kills me inside to know that the creator probably wanted to communicate something very specific, but failed miserably. So I have no idea. I'm gonna go with the decoy theory because that's my favorite, but feel free to come up with your own in the comments. So this guy attacks by shooting a big glow object laser that's telegraphed with an exclamation mark, and he's even got his own animation for it. Then a green shield pops up, and you have to take cover behind it to dodge his next attack. It's pretty cool when you remember that this is a callback to the original Space Invaders, but also, you have no time to react here. The shield pops up super quickly, flashes an arrow in an even shorter amount of time, and then if you're not already at the top of the screen, you're screwed. One thing I find really funny is that the shield doesn't even do anything. As soon as the laser is about to reach the shield, the boss just stops shooting entirely. For all we know, he probably could have blasted right through it if he tried. Oh, what's that? He literally does! The shield signals for you to go down and gives you plenty of warning ahead of time, which makes this second blast a lot more readable. But as it's moving down, you can very clearly see the laser pierce right through it. So I'm starting to feel a lot less safe around this thing. It doesn't really matter though, because the shield heads out after this anyways. After that, he goes ARG again and shoots one more laser, but this one straight up gives you no time to react. There's an exclamation mark to warn you, but it appears at the same time as the laser itself, so all it does is
Ne. A vyvíjí se přesně o 0,002 sekundy dřív než ten laser.
mock you. Like, what was this for? It's like if I punched someone in the face and then said, watch out after. Actually, you know what? Yeah, this alien would definitely do that. Fortunately, there's some fairer exclamation marks up ahead that give you a lot more time to react. And this time the boss is actually lunging forward at you, so now it's personal. So if you survive all that, he's like, ha 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 in Spanish. Game over! And strap in, because you're about to witness the absolute peak of cinema. So a big spike wall goes down, but the blue guy comes back and he's like, no! And then destroys it with his laser. I want to assume that the red guy summoned this spike wall to destroy you, but the pacing here is so awful that there's no way to tell what it's really for. You don't have any time to comprehend what's going on because by the time you blink, the blue guy's already destroyed the wall. I mean, shout out to him for jumping in so fast, but also it makes for terrible storytelling. Where's the suspense? Side note, this is another cutscene, which means more invisible walls, so you're just randomly floating here the entire time because visible platforms are a thing of the past. After destroying the wall, the red alien is like, Arg, you again? Yeah, he really likes saying Arg. Also, wait, this means they've met before. So, was that him in the last fight?
Počkej, oni se potkali, že jo, v té ballpartě.
The blue guy responds with, yeah, but the timing makes it look like he's cutting the boss off mid-sentence. Then he goes, and we will end, which I'm not even sure what this one means. Maybe let's end this? I don't know. But the red alien responds with no, so clearly it's bad for him. Then they do that thing from sci-fi movies where they shoot lasers at each other and form a massive ball of light in the middle. But sadly, it's just too much for a little blue hero, and the red alien takes him down. Your player cries out, no, and the boss laughs back, still in Spanish. Also, quick timeout. This is the second time you, the player, yell no, but this time it uses your primary player color instead of your second one. So either the creator forgot which player color he's supposed to be using, or honestly, that's the only thing I can think of. Another platform causes you to slide up a little bit, and you hit one final invisible size portal to turn you into a big boy. Game over. No! And just like that, the evil red space invader has been defeated. Wait, why didn't you just do this from the start? Or maybe the blue guy weakened him? I don't know. But may he rest in peace. Finally, the level ends with this unmissable Mario coin, which is the level's third coin. Because obviously it wouldn't be a bad custom level without a free coin at the end. A free coin that isn't even consistent with the style of the other two coins, and doesn't even use a sprite from the right game. At the very least, it syncs up with the last note of the song. But like, that doesn't help in any way. Finally, the level's end screen. GGXD. Score 9999. A Lenny face. Well, it was 2015. Aretho Diaz. That's the guy who made the level, and he just doxed himself. 22,935 objects. That's not even accurate. Part 2. No! And with that, the level is finally over. 101 seconds of your life that you are never getting back. And if you happen to be hugging the roof during this part, like I was, you die and get to do it all again. The funny part is that this is completely unintentional. If you look in the editor, it's actually the spike wall from earlier, since its move trigger only lasts 20 seconds, which happens to expire at 98%, or even 99 if you're really unlucky, like this guy in the comments. But there you have it. Generation Retro by Aratsa. Furta's Level Retro 2.0. Like. Thanks Rubrub for featured in coins verified. Smiley face GGXD. I think Sir Haddoken's comment describes my thoughts perfectly. That Blue Bite is a hero. If he hadn't sacrificed himself, this level would have been longer. Virus detected? I think the computer's talking about the level. Johnny, this isn't Killbot. Sad that this garbage had to be in a gauntlet. Now it's getting underserved fame. It's sad, really. Honestly, I agree. I spent the whole video going over why this level is such a steaming pile of trash, but in reality, my biggest problem with it is that it's in a gauntlet. It's the final boss of a gauntlet. You could argue that levels like Thinking Space are quote-unquote bad, but if you don't want to play them, you don't have to. Worst case scenario, you miss out on 10 stars and a couple of list points. But Generation Retro is forced. It's basically on the same pedestal as an official level. The level definitely has its fair share of charm, but I don't want to play this. I don't think other people should be forced to either. I'm fine with this level existing, but still, we need to go back in time to update 2.1 to get Generation Retro off the Poison Gauntlet. So, in conclusion, this level fucking sucks. Just go play Retray instead. Thanks for watching, and I'll remember you all in therapy. Bad geometry.
OK, jako dobrý video, actually chat. Quantum Processing 100% complete od 4 nákladáků.
Blast Processing is a fun and easy level that is loved dearly by the Geometry Dash community. Quantum Processing is a super buffed abomination filled with awkward gameplay and choke points galore. And for some reason, I decided it was a good idea to try and beat it. It wasn't! So considering I pretty much gained the title as the super buffing guy, I figured it would make sense to revisit the original most popular super buffed level created by Riot in 2017. When you look at Quantum Processing, it doesn't take you long to figure out that, yeah, this is a super buffed copy of Blast Processing. The saw blades are bigger, the spikes are plentiful, the flying is tighter, but I swear that some of these buffs were built with evil in mind, like even worse than my super buff levels. A good way to know which parts are terrible is by looking at my death tracker. For example, 2,804 deaths at 1%. Okay, I guess that saw blade's pretty hard. And another 1,368 deaths at 2%. Okay, those are just the first jumps. Yes, they're hard, but they don't really matter. Let's move on to the drop, where the wave game mode would normally be introduced in Blast Processing. But now it's riddled with saw blades waiting to kill you if you mess up even 1 millisecond of clicking. And the bigger issue begins when the dual portal is introduced. Meet the 22 wave release. I can pretty easily do the initial click to get into this half block gap, but for some reason I just could not get the release timing right. I would always hold too long and just die, and when I tried not to hold too long, I would just end up dying even earlier, and then have to wait until I got back there again to just die once more. And by once more, I mean 204 times. Okay, yes. 200 attempts is a lot less than a 2,000 from the beginning, but keep in mind that every time I got to that 22% wave release click, I had to get through the 21% leading up to it, just to die to the same click. So as you can expect, this frustrated me quite a bit. What percent was that? 22? Let's see how many times is that at 22%. 149 times. Have you ever heard of anyone who's died to that percent 149 times? Because that's the first time I've heard about it. That is the first time I've seen anybody who's died 149 times at 22%. Now that we have 22% done and over with, let's move on to 24. Only 1 second later, there was yet another insanely tight wave click. This one killing me 117 times. And I should probably mention 26% as well. Yet another insanely awkward wave click, this one resulting in 63 deaths. In the span of 5 seconds, there's 3 choke point clicks. We're in for a ride, aren't we? Thankfully, after the beginning wave parts, there's a pretty easy ship part. Then the hardest ball ever created. I mean, seriously, 12 of these tight freaking clicks in a row? Usually once I got through the first 2 clicks, I could kind of lock in and get through the whole part. But those first 2 clicks really got me, man. 71 deaths at the first click and 46 at the second. On to the next part. Meet the other wave part. Okay, so if you're anything like me, you're watching this part right now thinking, hey, that doesn't look too bad. You have like a full 2 blocks of space to fit in, and it's only at 1 time speed. And you'd be right. This part isn't hard. I completely agree. And every part of me agrees, except my finger that would just keep clicking wrong and dying for no reason. In this easy freaking wave part, dying a collective of like 72 times, 30 of which were specifically at this 47% wave release. Remind you of anything?
Yes, chat, yes.
The fact that I struggled that much with this wave part really goes to show that I am a very weak wave player. That's definitely going to turn into an issue when I try to beat levels like Sonic Wave in the future because, you know, it's literally called Sonic Wave. There's a lot of really hard wave gameplay, and I suck at the wave, so look forward to that. You'll be happy to know that I also struggled tremendously with the cube part immediately after the wave. This saw blade right here, 15 deaths. This triple spike right here, 12 deaths. And it doesn't stop there. Because once you get to 65%, the most awkward UFO part of all time begins. It's honestly really hard to convey just how awkward this part is through video, but if you try this yourself, you'll absolutely understand what I mean. The clicks just don't make sense. I died here 3 times before I ever got past it from 0, and that was far from the last time I died there, as you can see on the death tracker. Bro, there's no way! Again! Next up, this entire ship part at 70. You know that one really hard ship part in Theory of Everything 2? Imagine that, but it's now 3 times more claustrophobic. Because this ship part is so far into the level, I would always get nervous and slip up every time I got this far. This resulted in me being stuck here for about 2 weeks, which was very frustrating. I was really starting to lose hope because I expected to knock this level out in like a week or 2, but instead I was a full month in to streaming this level, and I only made it 3/4 of the way through. It's especially frustrating because this level isn't even a new hardest. In fact, according to the demon list, this would only be my 4th hardest completion, and yet it took more live streams than Artificial Ascent, my 2nd hardest. But I'm not no noob. I verified Time Extreme. I plan to beat the RGB trilogy one day, maybe even Bloodlust. Am I really gonna give up on quantum processing? Heck no! I kept streaming as much as I could until finally, on May 15th, I passed 75%. I made it through the ball, the UFO, and even the final ship just to die to this.
Extremeness. Time Extreme. V prvních 5% levelu jsou oba dva ty quadruple spiky.
There's no way I just died in that quadruple spike! Oh. Like, bro, I verified stereo extremeness. I verified time extreme. And you know what those levels start with? Let me just show you what both of those levels start with. Let's just go to Vortrax's profile and see what my levels both start with. Things I'm very familiar with after spending 80,000 attempts combined. Look at this. Oh my god. A quadruple spike. And what does time extreme have in the beginning? I'm curious. Let's see. What's in time extreme? Surely there won't also be a quadruple spike, right? Okay, I've got a little intro. Oh, quadruple spike. 3 quadruple spikes that I all just did first try. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? So when I do quantum processing, the end, which is the easiest part, that's when I want to die to quadruple spikes. That's when I want to die to quadruple spikes. I can't even do them at all now. But I didn't let it bother me. Okay, maybe I actually did let it bother me, but it sounds cooler if I act like I was just all nonchalant, like, I just don't even care. I was bothered. But I returned the next day with yet another new best, this time at 90%. What? What? Wait, what did I just die to? What? Gotta be honest, I was pretty upset with myself for dying to this final cube part twice now, because to be honest, it is definitely the easiest part of the level overall, aside from just like a couple tricky timings, so like there was no need to die there twice from 0. But don't worry, tomorrow I died there a 3rd time. Wait, oh no, what? I also died to 84% and 76%.
Vortraxy, to se neříká.
Oh. Although I was disappointed I didn't beat it that day, I was still satisfied with how many far runs I got. The consistency was real, and if I could just keep it up, I might be able to secure the bag very soon. It was definitely a nice change of pace from that 2-week time period where I was stuck at 75%. And to even further lift my spirits, only 1 day later, I sealed the deal. I beat quantum. Lift my spirits. Only 1 day later, I sealed the deal. I beat quantum processing. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my completion of quantum processing. I thank you so much for watching this far into the video, and I want to implore you to subscribe to my channel right now, because I'm racing my buddy King Samalot to 1 million subscribers, and whoever loses is getting punished. And I don't want to get punished, so please subscribe. Spare me from the wrath of King Samalot. Okay, let's do this. Completion time. Oh my god, thank you. Oh my gosh, this level was driving a brother crazy. Oh my god. Wow. what was supposed to just be like a 1 or 2 week, like, yeah, a little side extreme demon just for fun, turned into a month of grinding and dying at 22% and 47% and 66% and 59% and 87% and 90%? Round of applause. We did it, man.
Esoteric Hydra!
We did it, bro. You win. It's true. In total, chat, I beat quantum processing in 17,973 attempts. That's not terrible. I definitely thought I was going to beat it in like 10,000, and this is almost double that. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay, chat. That is A-okay.
Okay. Takže teď půjdeme si zpátky na GDčko. No, dáme nějaký levely, potom dáme Dark, které bylo... Dáme
Recent time!
Dáme Recent time. Bro. Steroids. No, it's Fitzgerald. On the oh, let's get flame. Or however, Polargeist. Did this guy repeat Polargeist from memory? What? Should never move anglicky, frame effects. Spam challenge. Já jsem pídl fakt jako hodně. Já docela hraju off-screen spam challenge. Okay. Oh, here are some spam challenges. Seja juntos vão lá, já ti nenávidím. Můj spamming technik. Dva hráče, takže... Spam challenge Jacko. Wait, that's impossible.
Hi.
Wait, damn. To je zbytečný. OK, je to kámože v chatu. GG. Ale tak, jdeme zpátky hrát Dark Travel. Takže... No a za chvíli budu ukončit stream. Takže jako streamuju dobrou hodku, to vole. počet. W32%. NGL jako je to dobrý, ale já nemyslím, že je to nějak jako ultra dobrý new best. Budu hrát i za kamerou, takže vlastně ale ty vogo, tohle jsem naštvaný, ty vogo. Už nám prostě ani první klik. S tím jako to je docela easy, to je docela easy čas toho. Kámo, jako 3 new besty, jako dobrý, ale hele, dal jsi mi 33%, já jsem spokojený. Takže tohle bude asi zatím, ale to bude pro dnešek. Se všechno už budu končit stream. Možná dneska budu streamovat znova, asi spíš ne. Budu hrát Dark Travel za kamerou, takže možná se mi povede dát nějaký new besty, ale zatím podle mě jsme si užili jako docela dost jako zábavy. Takhle vypadá většinou jako ty rozlohy těch streamů, že právě dáme Dark Travel, prostě nějaký díčko, potom reakce na tak 2-3 videjka, potom zase díčko a potom ukončím stream. Takže mějte se hezky a zítra nejspíš zase se uvidíme.